Yeah, okay.
Good to go.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Ian. I'm Patrick, and we have built Tinderm. See it, swipe it, sorted.
Please scan the QR code to have a little go yourself.
Scan at any point, it'll be on every slide, so please scan away.
Okay, so this is not a new story. Anyone in dermatology knows that there's a bottleneck that's been happening for years. We've got about 1 million referrals to dermatological services a year, increasing annually. About 60% of those are for potential skin cancer, urgent referrals that have a 2-week window to be answered. And we also have a lack of dermatologists. In England, we've currently got 659 consultant dermatologists, but a whole 159 vacancies, and some trusts are lacking on any substantive dermatologist consultants. So enter technology. At the moment we have a growing use of teledermatology, which is using a system to analyze images of dermatology. So what happens is, in your primary care provider, there'll be photos taken at both the kind of macroscopic normal level and also a magnified dermoscopic level. And then those are sent via system to a consultant in the secondary care unit who then analyzes and triages that. And so, can you go back?
Oh, sorry.
So AI is probably going to come into this space, but we're going to argue that manual review is currently important and will continue to be important for aspects such as data capture for training AIs, for training junior doctors, and for cases with darker skin types where AI currently falls short. So the current systems are rigorous and they'll have all the correct licenses, but they're not designed for high volume. So our approach is this user-centered approach to really hone in and make it easy for consultants to do what they do best, which is diagnosis. And the idea here is to do the simple things well.
So enter Tinderm, swipe to triage. It's a very simple, easy to use interface, which may be familiar to some of you, not looking at anyone in particular, where you swipe right for benign, swipe left for biopsy, and swipe up to share with a colleague from whom you may require some additional support. Once you get to the end of a batch of 20 images, you review them all to ensure that you're happy with your choice for each image. These are batched into 20, and one of the key things that we've done is introduce a blind cross-check, so that whenever clinicians assign all of the images to benign or biopsy, they will also receive 2 images that another clinician has already reviewed. They'll be randomly selected to ensure that some images get a second review. The benefits of this are that it speeds up the review process, it doubles up as a teaching tool, and for dermatologists who have to sit and click through all these images on a computer, it's much nicer to just sit with this device in their hand. So some of the potential risks of this product are that there could be user error that allows things to slip through. That's why we've batched this in chunks of 20 images to allow for a quick review. And for that kind of false negatives where mistakes can be made, we've added that blind cross-checking to ensure that there's double checking of images. Who benefits? Dermatologists, who get a more fun way to work. Patients, because there are fewer missed skin cancers through more efficient review of their images, as well as on the safety side as well. What we learned is that you can start with a solution and work backwards to find a problem, not necessarily the other way around, and that user experience is critical for throughput through a product. What we'd like to do next is integrate some AI into this to that blind cross-check side where there are potentially risky images, ensure that those are the ones that get extra review by the consultants, and move to this being used in an NHS trust. If any of you are interested, please let me know. Thank you. We welcome any questions, although we assume there probably aren't any because we've covered it all.
Oh, I've got some hands jumping up already. I'm actually going to go up. Aaron.
Would you envisage this being used by GPs primarily, or would it be accessible to, say, resident ward doctors in a hospital where there might not be a dermatologist?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Not something we've probably considered in terms of who the actual clinical users are. Definitely something that works well by any kind of user group. I don't know how many images ward doctors would be reviewing in terms of dermatology. But
so your product is about the review process, not the upload process.
Yes.
So it's not going to change anything about how they get there. It's about how they would review it.
Yeah.
David.
So you've gone for fun in terms of Tinder.
Tinderm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is a phone the right device to look at these images on?
Why would it not be?
I'm always going to.
the-
Similar clinical kind of thing is that you don't have any information there about
Oh, sorry.
where
Oh,
the
gosh.
lesion is.
Yeah.
or
Sorry. Thank you
anything
very much for
like
asking that
Good
question, actually. On tapping an image, you get some high-level clinical context about the patient. So you see their age, the site of the lesion, some useful information in terms of making diagnosis. Being on a phone, these are incredibly high-resolution screens that allow for zooming. Don't know why that's not working. To be able to review this in more depth. And everyone already has a phone, so it kind of works from that side.
This is a web app, so it could be used across a range of devices at the moment as well, so a bigger tablet.
You?
So I imagine like when the dermatologist is reviewing this, you can't just say, I imagine it's like radiology reporting, right? You've got to give a report rather than just a yes or a no.
Great question. Yeah. So in the bottom right side of the screen, I've just locked my phone, you'll see a little microphone icon. So at the point of swiping right or left, you can add a little voice note to say, this looks like melanoma, we need to see the patient in 3 weeks, that kind of thing. Stop the recording and then do your swiping and it saves to the record. Yes?
What did you learn over the weekend? What did you change?
So yeah, we kind of had this idea of the Tinder swiping at the start, and it was finding, we also had a bit of the dermatology idea, but it was really concretely honing in on how exactly it's useful, because at face value, sometimes you could have designed this to be any sort of way that wouldn't have been honing in on exactly improving the efficiency or the accuracy. So it was those two big mitigations that we honed in on, which was the reviewing after 20, which was very important to us, and the blind cross-check, which were new features of the review process that we came up with.
I would add that it's just the two of us now, but we had a bigger team who dropped off over the course of the weekend, so we had to do a bit of extra work this morning, so that was a learning process as well. Thank you.